World got its 7th Giga Coaster in 2020 with Orion, built by Bollinger and Mobbyard in Kings Island in Mason, Ohio, for the new 2020 season. So I had the pleasure of riding Orion twice. I rode it second to front row, which is basically the front row, and third to back row, which is not really the back row, but I'd say close enough. So today I'm going to be reviewing this entire coaster and what elements I like the most, which elements I just thought were kind of there for no reason. And my overall thoughts on this coaster, if it's my favorite coaster, is there better coasters, and is this the best Giga coaster? Is Fury 325, Leviathan, the other B&M Gigas, are they better or are they worse? I haven't ridden those two, but we're just going to find out today what my initial thoughts are on this new coaster. So here we go. Let's get into it. So what's it like before you even start the ride? Well, this coaster's presentation is absolutely excellent. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Best theming Cedar Fair's done yet for me. I mean, wow, as a pre-show, it has so much theming. The new Area 72 is fantastic. It has a new restaurant. Flood of Fear feels like a new ride, even though it's just some 1996 indoor premiere spaghetti bowl coaster. But they really enhanced it for Orion. This is the best presentation yet. I think this is awesome presentation, as well as the color scheme is beautiful too. So the action starts immediately with a very quick lift hill, taking you up to that 287-foot mark. You're ready for the excitement. Then this lift hill takes you up pretty quick. Not this quick, I sped it up a little bit, but pretty quick. Alright, so once you get to the top of the lift hill, it is awesome. So once you crest over a 287-foot lift, you plunge down 300 feet. So this coaster's drop, sure, it's not as long as Fury's or Leviathan's, but I'm absolutely sure it feels the same. So, yeah, it's only going 4 miles an hour slower than Fury and just pretty much 1 mile an hour slower than Leviathan. So it's pretty much the same drop. Once you've ridden this drop, you've ridden all the B&M Giga drops. But this drop gives some absolutely incredible whip. Personally, it is my favorite part of the ride because it's just so good. It's steeper than all the other B&M Gigas, but it's just so good. This is the favorite part of the ride for me, right when you crest that lift hill. So now you guys are probably wondering, what's the next element? So the next element is some sort of wave turn element, not really been seen on a B&M before this one, but it's actually kind of cool. I didn't really expect, I was kind of expecting this to actually give some sideways hang time. Didn't really give that. It didn't give any air time if you're expecting that. No air time, no hang time. I thought it was just a fun overall element, but it really didn't deliver anything, so don't expect much out of it. But I thought it was fun and cool for a B&M. So let's get into the next element after this one. So the next element is the backwards Fury 325 treble clef turnaround. So some of you probably are like, well, did he give some airtime on the very top? And honestly, I wasn't really looking for airtime. I didn't really look for much on this element. I'm pretty sure it gave a little bit of airtime at the very top, but besides that, you're not going to get any air. I thought it was actually pretty steep going all the way back down, and I didn't really notice it, but from the POVs, you can get some really good views of the beast, and right when it goes to the back of the woods. It's pretty cool. So this element was a little bit better for airtime than the wave turn, but honestly, it's not my favorite part. It's okay, but don't expect a ton out of this element. So here's the element most enthusiasts are ashamed to hear about, the speed hill. Does it give great ejector airtime? For me, it was the 4th best element on the ride, but yes, it did give some absolutely awesome ejector airtime. I've never had better airtime in my life, honestly. I did get kind of stapled on my second ride, so I didn't get just as good airtime than I did in the first ride. But trust me, if you can avoid to get stapled, it gives some absolutely excellent airtime. The next element, it's really weird to say, I like more than the speed hill, is the giant floater hill. With the trim brake, I know, but the trim brake didn't really hit that hard. It probably hit the same amount in second to front and third to back row. And honestly, it didn't really hit that hard, so it was pretty good. But the floater airtime hill, it does give some pretty good mild floater airtime at the hot top. Not as good floater air as some of Diamondback's hills, but it does give some pretty good floater air at the top, so you won't be completely underwhelmed by it, but it is a little bit underwhelming. But let's move on to the next element, which I actually thought was really good, and it was better than I expected. My second favorite moment on the ride was definitely that ampersand-like helix. And honestly, this helix actually gives some really good G's. You really pull some G's. It's definitely the most intense part of the ride. Yeah, it's really intense. I guess I know what it means to gray out now. You cannot, it's not like blacking out intense. It's definitely not that intense, but it is a pretty intense element. You don't really need to brace yourself for it. It's actually really fun. The G-force don't like slam on you like Intimidator 305's like turn around after the first drop, like not like super hard, like sometimes unfun. But yeah, this is a really fun helix that brings a lot of good positive G's. So let's move on to the last two elements. One of the most not talked about elements on Orion is probably this little turn right here. I know it's Coaster Studios' favorite element on Orion, and I have to disagree. But it's actually really cool. It does give some good airtime. Not sustained, just a little small pop of airtime. But it's not super good. You're not going to get a ton of sustained airtime. I know a lot of enthusiasts will be happy about that little airtime pop. And that'll actually be it's really cool. And it's actually a really cool small element on Orion, though it's probably not one of my favorite elements on the ride. And also, that little pop into the final brake run does not really give any airtime. So now I've gone through every single element on Orion. What's my final review of this ride? Well, I've only ridden 20 different coaster credits, and I've only ridden 19 different roller coasters. And out of all of them, Orion definitely is my favorite one. This coaster is really awesome, and I have to give it a 10 out of 10. I have only one nitpick, and that is the length. It's just too short. I just really did not want it to end. And I can definitely see why people like fearing more than this is because of the length, but not because of the height or the speed. I don't think there's much of a difference. But anyway, that's my final review on Orion. I really love this ride. I think that it's super underrated. Just because it's not the biggest Giga coaster doesn't mean that it has to be. Doesn't mean that it's not a good ride. Enthusiasts are really spitting on it because of that, and I think that it definitely does not deserve that. It's a really great ride, incredibly underrated. You should definitely ride this. So that's going to wrap up this review on Orion, the B&M Giga Coaster, all new for Kings Island in 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, start a conversation. Also, stay tuned for more reviews on Coaster King. I'll also show you, my next video will be the vlog where I first ride Orion as well. So stay tuned for that one. And also, yeah, stay tuned for more reviews. Dimebag, Misty Timbers, and the Beast are all coming soon. So see you later, and this is the Coaster King signing out.